And here we go. Hello. Welcome to Water Cooler episode, I don't know. Today we're doing a wrap-up of WordCamp Orange County 2018, which was last weekend. And let's start with introductions. We're going to start on the right with Jamal. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jamal Taishan, and I was one of the organizers of the WordCamp Orange County last weekend.
Excellent. Dave.
I am Dave Markowski. I am the AM/PM for Pixel Jar, and I was the speaker wrangler for WordCamp Orange County 2018.
Awesome. Joe.
Hi, my name's Joe Simpson. I was both a volunteer and a speaker at the WordCamp, so that was great.
Excellent, excellent. Priscilla.
Oh, you skipped over Thomas. Okay.
I'm going in my order, not your order.
Okay. Hi, I'm Priscilla Christian, and I'm the Empress of Priscilla Christian Graphic Services. And what is this? Year 4 for WordCamp Orange County. I was the volunteer organizer, or as I like to call it, the volunteer wrangler. And I've done 5 WordCamps as a volunteer wrangler. So thus far, my red badge of courage.
Nice.
You do it quite well.
Thomas.
Hey guys, I'm Thomas Levy. I was a volunteer at WCOC this year. I participated in Plugin Palooza.
Nice.
I won the unofficial fan favorite, I believe.
I'm sure that's the thing.
It is now. And I'm Steve Zengin. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive. I run the OC WordPress meetup, and I was the lead organizer for WordCamp Orange County. So this was our 9th WordCamp. What? Did I do something wrong?
Were you?
I was, yes. Was it? Did it sound like a question? I was the lead organizer?
It definitely did.
Oh. Did my inflection go up at the end?
Yeah, like that.
So this was our 9th WordCamp Orange County, and our best yet. No, Dave's rolling his eyes, but
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
It was pretty epic. So let's start by talking about our theme. What was the theme this year?
D&D.
D&D? Who thought of that?
Oh,
Well, as you know, I'm a big old nerd.
Yes.
I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 1st edition. And so I think I pretty much just kind of talked all of you into doing that for me. So I
railroaded it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dice.
So the way we choose our theme at WordCamp Orange County, it's actually the first thing we do. So we chose the theme back in December. So we get together with the organizers. We have an initial meeting, and the very first thing we do is just brainstorm a theme. And so Dave came in. He said, right when he came in, he said D&D. And so we put it on the board, and then we brainstormed for an hour.
This is not the first year he's suggested D&D. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, but this year,
I think it was going to happen sooner or later.
But this year he came to lobby, and he did. And I got to tell you, it worked. It actually worked out perfectly, thanks to our designer Robert Nighthouse, who did a phenomenal job with the
graphics
branding this year. And so that was our theme. And Dave gave some spectacular opening remarks. Would you like to do them here again?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you still?
But
have
I can summarize. Like,
do you have the? Do you want to put on the
robe
costume? Yes, please.
I have it. Yeah.
I'm bummed that you didn't have the long beard.
We tried the long beard, but someone cheaped that out, and the one ended up just being like cotton candy.
He put it on. He looked like a homeless wizard.
It was pretty bad. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you. So how did you prep that? It seemed so natural. It seemed like you were a wizard in another life.
Years of playing D&D.
I literally played D&D.
Yeah, Dave has been waiting for that moment for about 40 years.
It's 5 minutes of fame.
Master.
If my group ever sees that, they'll be like, "Oh, he's doing this guy," and like they will know whose voice I'm using for the wizard.
Oh, so you were channeling a character?
Yeah, sure. Or an amalgam of characters. I mean, yeah.
Maybe I should cut that and post it on YouTube.
So Do give us a brief summary of what the opening remarks were about.
Yeah. So what we always try to do is, while we enjoy our themes, we always try to have a reason that we're choosing that theme for the WordCamp, as thinly veiled as it may be. But the 3rd edition of Dungeons and Dragons used an open gaming license, which allowed publishers to make products that had the D&D label on it. And that is a big change in the way that Dungeons and Dragons had traditionally been. In fact, like the 1st edition is rife with lawsuits for they included stuff from Tolkien, they included stuff from like Michael Moorcock, Elric Saga and stuff. And all that stuff created this horrible landscape. And then in the 3rd edition, they said, no, let's do this cool thing. Other publishers will produce and it'll make the brand stronger. So it was a really good tie into, you know, the way WordPress works. So
they open sourced.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's talk about our swag. So the swag always fits really nicely with the theme at WordCamp. But the swag was especially cool this year. And as Dave said, he really did this because he needed D&D dice. So this was the first piece of swag that we gave away. It was a custom pouch filled with a set of D&D dice. I know. So whether you knew what to do with these or not, everybody got a set of D&D dice at WordCamp.
They're not like D&D dice. They're just gaming.
Sorry, gaming. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
You know what was cool was I knew the theme was awesome when my daughter told me what color dice to bring back home.
Nice.
Yes. Well, what color did she want?
I think she wanted the red ones. They were like orangish red. Yeah. So
cool.
I had to ask her also what the little symbols meant. I wasn't familiar with D&D.
And the icons on the stickers?
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, let's talk about that next. So this was our 2nd year giving away an enamel pin. So this was last year's, but this year's was even cooler. We did the dragon logo as a pin. So I think that came out really cool. But this to me, I thought this was the best part was we tied together, or Robert and Dave.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was all Robert too.
This was really Robert. Came up with the idea to tie together the stickers and the badges. And so what we had this year was on the badges, it had a place where you could choose your class. And then that was the second part of the sticker pack was you got to pick your class and put it on your badge. And we had signage up around the camp that told people what these meant. And so this was a really nice conversation piece at the camp. Any feedback on that? Great.
No, just keep telling us. We like your stories.
I'm just gonna keep going. I don't know why the rest of you are here. This really should.
Yeah, if you could have just showed off everything you did and said, "I'm the best."
Ask everyone what their class was.
What was your class?
My class was barbarian, and
and
Brandon said I was a barbarian. So okay, Thomas says I'm a barbarian too.
You are a barbarian.
Thank you.
I was also a barbarian, so you're in good company there.
Yay!
I saw some people having 2 classes, one on each side of the badge.
Ooh, clever.
That's just a coward's way out.
No, I was a fighter and a barbarian.
It's multi-classing.
Yeah.
It's totally allowed. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was working the swag table, I heard a lot of conversations as to what you were or what I was. So
nice.
It was definitely a good theme.
Cool.
There's a lot of finger pointing, like you chose the wrong class, and some like factions started to develop and things.
I had a lot of people who wanted like a consultation, like, "What do you think?" I don't know. What do you want to be? Yeah.
It was a great conversation starter. So it was very effective and very cool. This is the 2nd year in a row we put the swag table down at the end of the sponsor hall. So you, as an attendee, you had to pass the sponsors if you wanted to pick up your swag, and the sponsors really appreciated the foot traffic. So that sponsor hall gets pretty crowded. So that was nice as well.
And also we had another swag, the pint glass.
Yes. Yeah, I don't have any. I've got a ton of pint glasses downstairs. I didn't bring one up here. But yeah, we gave away pint glass as well.
Yeah.
Lots of
swag. The swag was, I'm sorry, Jamal. The swag was such in demand. I was at the table at the end of the conference. All the sponsors were asking for hats.
Yeah, the hats were special swag this year. So Joe, did you have one back there?
I have them both.
Swag was special this year, so that was our speaker gift. That was our speaker gift and our organizer gift. And our volunteers, he's got a hat, and so that the attendee shirts were the black ones that Priscilla has on. The staff shirts, the volunteer shirts were purple. And so all the volunteers were wearing purple hats as well. So it was really easy to spot the WordCamp staff for the weekend. So that was a nice touch. But the hats came out really, really well.
They did.
All right, so let's talk about sessions. All of that design stuff was great, but the sessions were terrible.
Not true. Not true.
It's not true at all.
And they got crazy full.
That's the one thing we take pretty seriously at WordCamp Orange County is we spend a lot of time vetting our speakers. We spend a lot of time going through the kinds of sessions that we want. And so we do try to build a pretty good program for the weekend. And I thought the sessions were outstanding at this past WordCamp. And like I said, most of the sessions, many of the sessions were standing room only, which was very cool. So they were very well attended. Any sessions stand out that you saw?
Business track was different, and for the first time this year, and also significantly other. Those are the new tracks, and they got lots of attention and interest.
So yeah, we had a new host for the business track. So my Sam, my wife, who was a business track speaker last year, hosted, and she had a really nice different perspective than we've had in the past, and so that was welcome. And then yes, we introduced a new panel called Significantly Others, which was right after lunch in the same room, which was fun. And so that was about some of the three of the significant others of prominent people in the WordPress space, and what they deal with on a day-to-day basis with people that are working in technology. So that was cool.
We heard the behind the scenes for those families.
Yep.
Yeah, a little too much.
We learned a lot. We definitely learned a lot. So that was fun. We also had a new host for Plugin-a-Palooza. So Alex Vasquez hosted Plugin-a-Palooza, and we shortened the time this year. So it wasn't 2.5 hours; it was 90 minutes. And I think those couple of changes made it a spectacular event this year. So it's been great in the past, but this year's event was especially awesome.
It ran pretty snappy, and yeah, it felt good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say
it was well attended throughout the entire thing. I mean, it was crowded in that room.
Yeah. I was going to kind of say what we normally don't do is we normally don't do a lot of panels, and this year we kind of changed that a little bit. And especially for our longer sessions, for those of you who don't know, we do usually 2 tracks of speakers, which are the typical 45-minute sessions. Mm-hmm. And then we do 2 tracks. One is called discussions, and one is called workshop. Workshop is intended to be a little more hands-on. And those 2 tracks, the workshop and discussions, are 90 minutes. So they're double length sessions. So we did a lot more panels in those lengthier sessions, including we had a project management panel where 3 project managers talking about different aspects of project management coming together. We had a typography panel with 2 folks giving both history and implementation on some typography. And we had a GDPR panel with 2 lawyers, 2 developers, and our very well-informed moderator, Leo, who's talked about the GDPR here a couple times. So I got some really good feedback on the panels. I think they were a hit. And it'll probably modify how we do things in the future, assuming, the next speaker wrangler is, going to do the same kind of programming.
Yep. I heard great things about all the panels as well, especially the typography panel. And
I attended that one.
Yeah, we weren't sure quite how that was going to go, right? I heard. I mean, we were kind of like, okay, what's this going to be like? And the feedback on that panel in particular was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joe,
Amber's was one. Yeah, Amber's was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Also, Chris's was awesome on WooCommerce. He's a dynamic speaker.
So yeah, Chris Lemma gave a workshop about WooCommerce. That was very well attended.
Lots of give and take.
The other thing that we tried this year that we hadn't done previously is we actually connected with some other local organizations. We had in the morning SMMOC at WCOC, just to confuse everybody.
Social media in Orange County.
Right, which is a meetup that Bob Watson started. How long ago, Steve, now?
9 years.
Yeah. And it was dynamic to watch that just happen in that room. It's a very, it's kind of a blueprint for a lot of what you've been doing with our local meetup. And really well attended, and just seemed like it was a lot of fun was happening in that room. And then we also connected with Girl Develop It, and we had a Girl Develop It session as our second workshop for that day. So it was kind of nice to just try and plug in with other organizations that have similar missions to what we're doing with the WordCamps.
We also brought in some additional business stuff. So I asked a friend, Gary Johnson, to speak about networking, just how to act at a networking event and how to start conversation, that kind of thing. And that was standing room only. We got a lot of really great feedback on that particular session. So and Gary had a blast with that. It was one of those things going into it. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a ghost town or fully packed, and it was really well attended. So
that's kind of the tricky part. Is we always try to balance it out so that we have something going on in one of the rooms that appeals to all of the different kind of flavors of people. So if you're a designer, a developer,
barbarian,
a barbarian, a blogger, a business person, like there should be a spot for you, so you always feel like you have someplace to go aside from hanging out in the hallway, which is another track on its own.
I think the great thing, tagging on to what you said, Dave, this was my first time at a Orange County WordCamp, and the variety was very, very nice. And you got like from beginner all the way to seasoned veteran, so there was always something for everybody to do.
Cool.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was bored at WordCamp Orange County.
Most people were in the sessions. I mean, there were some people out there in the sponsors hall and stuff, but you know, a lot of times some WordCamps you get a lot of people in the hallway track, and that wasn't really the case. I was all over the place, and I didn't really notice people not in the sessions. We were more worried about being able to fit people in the sessions because we increased our ticket sales by 200 human beings.
We did, and you know, our only room that was consistently in an overflow situation was the venture room, right? Yeah. So, and we made some adjustments to the schedule, and there was still overflow. So we couldn't get that one right. So air conditioning was a bit of an issue for the weekend. It was hot in some of those rooms just because there was a lot of people crammed into a small space. And it was kind of unseasonably hot for early June in Orange County. We didn't get June gloom on either day. I mean, I showed up at 7 a.m. and it was already sunny out, which is rare. That's not the norm for that week in June. So that was really the only complaint or negative piece of feedback I heard was that some of the sessions were crowded, and there's not a lot we can do about that. But we actually are talking about ways to make some better predictions next year.
And I heard that the organization of the sessions in 2 different buildings, they were so happy that they can walk and get some fresh air in between the sessions.
Oh wow!
That was also something good.
That's very
wow.
good.
Yeah.
That was the other thing is we added a second building this year to accommodate the 200 more people. So it wasn't just the co-space, which that wasn't going to accommodate 500 attendees. So we were able to add a second building on the other side of Starbucks this year, which was cool.
Yeah, I did.
Unfortunately, that Starbucks is closed on the weekend. We ask them every year if they'll open. We've got plenty of business for them because they would be packed. But no, the Starbucks stays closed.
But since they are closed, we had coffee and breakfast for this year.
We did.
We fulfilled that need.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Dave?
I was going to say is I didn't get any negative feedback. Like one of our concerns was, will having it in 2 spots, create a negative feedback for folks, and I just didn't hear it. It didn't come up as a negative, so it was a very nice relief. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the only issue with that was Saturday morning, right? I was kind of bouncing between both buildings, and some people just came over to building 2 rather than going up to building 1 for registration, and we just redirected them and sent them over to registration. But registration was smooth. Smooth Saturday morning. It was smooth the whole way through. Thank you, Priscilla. Yeah, kudos. But we did change the placement of registration and the flow of people, and I mean, Saturday, normally there's just Saturday morning wait in a big rush, and it didn't feel like that at all this time around.
Good. I was nervous when I saw like 3 people in a line, because I'm thinking about supermarkets,
Freeze a crowd.
Freeze a crowd. Let's get this moving.
That's funny.
4 lines.
So Jamal sort of touched on it. Let's talk about the food. I said during opening remarks that I challenge anybody to go hungry this week, that weekend at WordCamp. We definitely went all out on food for WordCamp Orange County. Like Jamal mentioned, we introduced a breakfast, continental breakfast both days, in addition to coffee and snacks. So that was good. We added a 4th food truck at lunch both days. So I didn't see any issues with long wait times out at the food trucks, which was good. And then we had the Sunday social again with tacos and funnel cakes, because those 2 go together really, really well.
That's America. Like tacos.
I didn't see any complaining about the combination.
Nope, nobody complained.
I'm not complaining at all. The funnel cake bar was awesome.
I'm gonna complain.
Just because of the extra calories.
I think I gained 27 pounds.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah. I definitely. I got all my carbs in this past weekend, and then some.
But we didn't stop at the Sunday social. We gave boxes to the people to take home too.
Yeah, we did.
I did. I took my husband home dinner.
So
that's awesome.
Covered too.
So what was your experience with the food trucks? I thought the lunch lines were. I mean, both times I went down there, I don't think I waited more than 5 minute.
No lines. No lines. Was great.
Yeah. In the past, I've seen, one food truck would be more popular than the others, and there was in the past I've seen a long line for that one, but I thought it was pretty evenly spaced out this time. So
it seemed to be.
However, on the first day, if you didn't get grilled cheese with pulled pork on it, you made a mistake. So
you did. It was awesome. That was a great recommendation.
Critical failure.
Definitely too many choices.
I only had half a sandwich. It was the other truck.
Yeah. Me too. Actually, me too. The other trucks were just there as distractions, right? So it was really grilled cheese and pulled pork was all you needed
on sourdough.
Oh, exactly.
And then they gave you a giant thing of fries.
I want one right now.
Where can we go to get these?
I don't know. We gotta find that. We gotta find that truck.
There's a truck tracker you can download for your phone.
Oh, really? There is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Follow the trucks.
It's all the different trucks. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Awesome. The only other thing I had on my list is I thought the after party was the best one yet. The after party, it was crowded because that is a small space, but the vibe was great all night. I thought the vibe was great.
Well, Dirty Dailies is same every year. We got the vibe, we got the attendance, and we got some karaoke.
Yeah. Kevin Karaoke is happy to see us every year, and he was stoked as always that we were coming in.
Also, everybody loved that we had 2 days to socialize, to network because people usually like to go to the sessions and don't want to spend time on the hallway track. So going to the Sunday social and the after party, they add time to network.
Yeah, the Sunday social is pretty special. You know, it really is a great time to just chill out and compare notes and talk about what you learned and network, and I'm glad that's become a thing. So that's very cool.
And the location is so good. You don't need to drive. You don't need to go anywhere. You just walk through the parking lot and you are there.
Yeah. Yeah.
One more thing that we added this year that you might have forgotten, we added teen volunteers.
Oh, that's right.
They were phenomenal. And you know, I wasn't quite sure, but they were as hard-working volunteers as I've ever had. And they were wonderful. And I would like to thank my volunteers before we run out of time really quick. I'm going to name their names.
Okay.
Adam Abundis, Bob Kurtz, Britt Hoagland, Dave Braun, Jennifer Tucker, Joe Dixon, Mike Baker, Nate Conley, Patty Kurtz, Thomas Patrick Levy, Joe Simpson, Stephen Harvey, and then our 4 teens, Emily Lemma, who stepped up first, Tony Palazzolo, Natalie Bourne, and Jesselyn Tucker. Thank you all.
Okay. We had 14 volunteers.
14 volunteers, and okay, Steve, I'm sold, and now it can be a thing.
Okay, good. All right.
And I want to thank all my speakers.
Barbarian. What?
And I'm going to name them.
No, with 45 people.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But they know who they are.
No. These are people that give up a whole weekend. They give up, for most of them. I had a couple that were only one day, but a whole weekend, and they have no guarantee of anything other than perhaps lunch. Yeah. They don't get to see a session necessarily.
They get swag.
They get swag, but
they get to hang out with us.
Some of these people had tickets to go and gave them up.
No, honestly, volunteering and speaking and organizing, for that matter, it's all volunteer stuff, and it's because we love the community that we're in. And
I'm grateful for all of them.
I love being a part of this thing, so I hope that everybody had a good time.
And so I did want to give a special shout out to one of our newer organizers this time around, which is Leo. Leo came on as our accessibility wrangler, and he hit it out of the park. The additions that he put in place for this camp were just amazing. All the way down to adding closed captioning in one of our rooms, which was fun in itself, because that's the room I was monitoring the whole weekend. And so pretty much anything I said, even when I was stalling in between speakers, went up on the screen. There's a record of all of it. So I may have to go back and make some edits.
There's some unintentional hilarity with some of the more technological terms, where they're trying to figure out what we were saying. So if you're reading along, I got a lot of little jokes there.
And so her name is Susie, and aside from being great at what she did for the closed captioning, she had a sense of humor, and so she actually added a little commentary at certain points to the closed captioning, which was a lot of fun. So
yeah. After my speech, I went over and I chatted with her. And at the end of the day, I went back and I offered to massage her hands because she was so.
Somebody asked me, one of the pieces of feedback we got, somebody asked if they could use the software that we use to do closed captioning for the WordCamp. And I responded and said, yeah, her name's Susie. I think they just assumed that it was like being auto transcribed up onto the screen.
Like
no, we had a court reporter in the back of the room typing on that little reporting machine the whole time. That's how you do that. So
if somebody comes up with a software, it should be called Susie.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Anyway, any last comments before we close this thing down?
It was great. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
You did a fantastic job, Steve.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate you being our lead organizer
Thank
and
you very
love you
much.
very much.
You know,
Thank
we
you
had
very
no
much.
place.
And-
We had no place to do that for you. You
and-
know, I feel bad.
That was my second year. My term's over. That's all I can do.
Oh, join the club, buddy.
all I can do now is just volunteer like the rest of you. So, all right, we'll close it out there. Thanks everybody for being on this week. See you later.
Bye.